Heidi. Hey, hey, hey. Happy Wednesday. How is everybody out there? Hope you guys are doing great. Make sure you pop in the chat and say hello as you're joining us. I am joined by one of my amazing leaders on my team, Heidi Frost. So, Heidi, why don't you introduce yourself? Maybe
Hello.
some of our friends here, this might be their first time getting to know you.
Yeah, hi everybody. So I am part of Team Unstoppable, Kelly Roach Coaching. I'm one of the business strategists here on the team. So yeah, managing a lot of our clients at the launchpad level, but then growing and scaling all the way up, and happy to work with clients at all different stages and phases of business growth. So happy to be here.
Absolutely. So, we have been having so many conversations with our clients and with our own team about the importance of understanding that during an economic contraction, which we've been in for almost a year now, but also it is obviously accelerating. It's been headlines in the news recently about, some pretty mass layoffs and a lot of changes that are happening in a lot of bigger companies. The tech space is a bloodbath right now, obviously, with everything that's going on. And what's really interesting is we're still having clients that are having their best month. They're still having very successful launches. People are sharing wins and results in our Facebook groups every single day. And, what's so interesting, and we were just kind of like chatting before we hopped on, is that so much of how you experience any type of cycle in the economy is energetics, right? So, Heidi, maybe because you do work with so many of our clients one-on-one, if you look at the clients that are really thriving right now and getting results in our programs, like what would you say the top 3 commonalities are with those people?
Yeah, and I think it really starts with the mindset, right? Like, and understanding that in times of crisis or scarcity, that those clients that have an open mind and have that abundant mindset and are opportunistic and are open to, finding the opportunity in the obstacles and being resilient and really being open-minded to maybe testing new things or trying something a little bit different, being creative, right? And having that abundant mindset and that abundant outlook. I think that's so important when it comes, from the very foundational level of where it's starting, right? So within themselves and operating from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. So that's like one of the most important things. And that I think is above all the most important when it comes to how we approach everything beyond that. So that first and foremost, right? And then being able again to know their ideal client and what matters to them right now during this state of the economy, during this time, right? And how we can meet the ideal client where they're at and solve a very real problem in this very, real time that we're all navigating through. So again, taking that a layer deeper, taking that mindset and then understanding how to match that with the right strategy to continue to support their ideal client, and then tapping into the community, right? And understanding like what's working for others, what has been proven successful, what has a proven track record that's been validated, so that we can look at how we can apply that to what they're already doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't agree more that the energetics and the mindset that you approach things with is absolutely going to determine what your experience and results are. What I see a lot, and what I think actually perpetuates a lot of the layoffs that end up happening, and I've worked for Fortune 500, so I've been there. I've been through many rounds of them sending out the spreadsheet and having every manager in the company put names on the spreadsheet, and I always refused to do it. And I said, I'll earn it out. I'll earn it out. And I did. And we did, and we didn't have to do that. But it was only because energetically, I was not going to allow myself to be in that space of, oh, we're just going to respond, to what's happening out there. And I think that's one of the most important lessons in business is that no matter what the economy is out there, we create our own economy in here. And what we think and what we feel about the way that we're going to interact with what's happening in the market is what determines our outcome. And I'll give a really specific example. We're obviously in the business consulting space, and we help, business owners and companies to grow their brands. Well, when there's a transfer of, wealth and a contraction in the economy, the money is still there, but it flows very differently. And it's kind of like what you just shared, Heidi, understanding what's important to people, right? I think that, and I've spoken to a lot of people when the last contraction in the business coaching space happened in 2008 and 2009. What happened was a ton of people that were getting severance packages, being laid off from big companies, actually decided it's now or never. I'm going to start my own business. Mm-hmm. And so the business coaching space actually exploded during that time because so many people were like, oh my gosh, my spouse is being laid off. I'm being laid off. Is it even safe to go get another job? Because all these big companies are laying off anyway. And if you're the last one in, you're going to be the first one out. And so people actually decided to start their own business during that time. And there's so many people that will tell you that their entire origin story of their brand was, these circumstances were happening and I decided it was the best time to start my business. So that's just an example. The money is still there. Mm-hmm. It just flows differently. And I think the important thing to remember about like when there's a recession or a downturn or whatever the case, like no one has a crystal ball, right? I'll never pretend to be able to know exactly how things are going to play out because every time there's a situation like this, it just turns differently, so no one can sit there and say, I can't sit here and say, well, this is going to happen and then this is going to happen and this is how this is going to play out. But what I can say with complete confidence is there's going to be people that capitalize on the opportunity and grow. And there's going to be people who get taken out of business, a lot of them. And there's going to be, there's two parts of that. There is your ability to maintain and sustain both optimism and core action, because most people stop taking action when they get into a place of fear. That's part one. And then part two is, are you evolving your strategy to match what people are looking for in this environment? And a lot of times for you guys, and you guys can comment in the chats right now, like what industry are you in? What type of business do you have? Like, share what space you're in and we can talk a little bit more about that, but it's going to look different for every industry. Mm-hmm. But what I will say is like when one industry goes down, another industry goes up. And so if you're not operating from a place of fear and getting just overwhelmed and getting into a state of analysis paralysis, but instead, if you're in a state of curious observation, you will be able to begin to see, oh my gosh, this is coming down over here and it's shifting over here. And you will be able to see where the opportunity is and then align your business, your offer, your company with that. And so I would say, just going back to where we started, more than anything, it's so important. The energetics of this is so important to understand that there will be opportunity and there will be people that grow, but it really is going to come down to your ability to sustain the curiosity, the optimism, and be able to like really observe in real time what those changes that are happening are. I'm going to grab Marley. You pick it up from here.
Because I have a thought I want to just add to that. So I couldn't agree more. And I just wanted to say, like, it is a fact that more millionaires are made in times of recession. Hi, Marley. Welcome to the party. So more millionaires are made in times of recession. This has been proven time over time. So it does matter in terms of when a lot of the market is backing out due to fear, that those that are resilient and that are opportunistic and that are agile rise up. Right? Because there's more opportunity there than ever, which is the piece that so many people miss, right? Is that we have to choose to operate from a place of, again, abundance, opportunity, and optimism, and see the silver lining in all of this, right? Because a lot of your competitors, a lot of other people in the marketplace are more than likely going to be pulling back out of fear. Yes. And this is your time to rise.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And the thing that I'll add to that as well is that there's a portion of the population that is always going to be insulated, that whatever's going on, with the economy is not going to influence their buying decisions anyway. And so this is another reason why right now is a really important time to kind of like reinforce your brand positioning. Mm-hmm. And I was just having a conversation with our own team about this, because if you're positioning your brand up here to service people that have a level of insulation, they're established, they are financially sound, they're not going to make rash decisions and short-term decisions because the economy is contracting. Those people are actually seeing it as an opportunity, and they're going to be making more investments because they're like, wow, okay, this is a buying season, this is an investment season. But brand positioning is going to become really, really important in 2023 because there's two elements of that. The first element of that is you want to be able to sell to affluent buyers and well-established buyers that are going to keep buying in this environment. That's part one. Part two is, regardless of who you're selling to and what level person you're selling to, they're going to use an extra layer of discernment in their buying process because they're going to say to themselves, I can't afford to screw this up. This decision has to be the right decision. This person has to be the right person. They're going to do more due diligence on you before they buy from you. They're going to go through those extra steps of checks and balances. And so now is a great time in these last, 6 weeks of the year to really give your brand a refresh, give your brand an up level. Like, make sure your pictures are fresh. Make sure what you're posting on social media is sharp and clean and consistent. That brand positioning is going to matter in 2023 because people are going to be discerning. And if you intend to sell to an affluent buyer or a well-established buyer that is going to keep buying regardless of what the markets or the economy is doing, well, then you need to represent something that that person is going to see has credibility and authority that they're going to buy into, right?
Completely. Yeah. And I think too, just being that leader and having that conviction, right? So taking that a step further within the brand and really, again, modeling for your clients too, regardless of what industry you're in, how you want them to continue to show up for themselves, right? Whether that's in personal development space or in the health coaching space or even in the business space, right? To say that, like, when you have that conviction and you truly believe in what you have to offer and the results that you can get people, again, you can create that environment and that ecosystem that is self-sustaining regardless of any economy and what's happening out there in the market. So it's really important to start, again, within your own brand positioning and to have that conviction in your messaging and that belief within yourself and your offer that that the results will speak for themselves. And again, that conviction, credibility, and certainty will be so evident in the marketplace that you'll lead that way for your clients to follow.
Absolutely. So just recapping a couple of the things that we talked about, and I have a few more key points I want to make sure we share with you all today. We talked about the energetics and the mindset, which is the foundation of thriving. We talked about being curious and observing where the money is redirecting and then aligning with the opportunities that are going to unfold in real time as these changes happen. We talked about refreshing your brand and up-leveling your brand positioning and your authority in the market so that you can sell to buyers that will not be directly impacted in a significant way by the changes that are happening, right? Some of the other core things that are really important to thrive in a period like this is you have to really have your ear to the ground in terms of what is on the minds and the hearts of the people that are buying. We just did a lengthy session today, an hour-long session with our clients across 3 of our major programs, talking about what the disruption to the education space, to the coaching space, to the service space is going to be in 2023, and the 5 core things that you need to evolve about your offerings to make them attractive in this market. And it does look different than it did even just 6 months or a year ago. So you need to have your ear to the ground and know what matters to people, and to know that they may only be able to pick this or that. And so whereas in a market where it's kind of like easy come, easy go, there's a lot of money flowing, people are investing in 3 or 4 different service providers. You may be their one service provider that they're potentially investing in, which means you have to check all the boxes. You can't, it's not, you can't play as loose as you can. You have to be better. You have to be better in this market. And that's just the bottom line. It's not that there's less opportunity. The other key point that I want to share today is, and I saw this in corporate, and this is one of the key mistakes that I saw from my own company as well as other companies that we were servicing, which was that as soon as there was any type of contraction, they would begin to cut lifelines. And lifelines are resources, extras for your customers and marketing. And so your people, your marketing, your advertising, and the things that you do to really wow your customers, those are your lifelines. And when you begin to cut your lifelines and dig into things that now prevent growth, you're almost ensuring that your business is going to contract over the next 2 years instead of expand. Now, on one hand, you have to be fiscally responsible. Your team needs to be productive and profitable, and they need to own their responsibility, and you need to own your responsibility, coaching them effectively to do that. But on the other hand, if we're starting a 2-year cycle right now, which we are, of a series of economic contraction, and you start making decisions on the front end of those 2 years to cut marketing, to cut team, to cut extras that you do for your customers, you're virtually guaranteeing that by the time you come out of these 2 years, your business is going to be decimated. Whereas the people that say, no, I'm going to keep investing, you're going to have less competition, you're going to have less expensive advertising, and you're going to be coming out of this position as a much higher authority because you just incrementally kept going versus just slashing everything and pulling your company back. Anything you want to add to that, Heidi?
Yeah, I was just going to say that also complements and speaks to the client experience, right? So when we're looking at retention and like the lifetime cycle of the client journey, that also enhances their experience with you, which again will keep them long lifetime clients of yours, right? So when we're looking at client retention and sustainability of current customers and current clients, having that experience maintain its status and not fall back in terms of because of cuts or because of restrictions, it's going to just help to enhance that process of retention.
I agree. And I think that that's also a mindset shift that everyone needs to make watching this video, because when you're in a really rapidly growing economy or a really rapidly growing market, and you have a lot of new customers coming in, you have the privilege of allowing customers to come out the back end, and you're growing so fast on the front end that maybe that gets covered up or hidden. But when you're in this environment, you have to fight to keep every single customer. That's how you are going to sustain. And so it is so, so, so important to make a decision that you are going to make sure you sustain and maintain your customers by over delivering, not cutting on resourcing for them, because that's how you're going to make sure, oh, we may only bring in a quarter of the clients that we brought in over the last couple of years, but because we're taking care of our customers, our core is staying strong. And so these are the kinds of decisions to be thinking about and to be making in your businesses right now. Yeah, I see your comments coming in, and I agree. Mariah said, so many businesses forget client retention and taking great care of who you have already. And it's so important. And, it's something I literally this morning, myself and our president of our business advisory just had a meeting about this. And we're like, how do we simplify the focus of the people that are on our servicing team so that we can really go above and beyond versus barely scraping by, like doing the essentials. We want the customers to feel that we're putting extra emphasis on them. And so there's going to be, action taken on that to ensure that we're modeling that in the market. The other thing that I would add here that I think is important is that it is going to be really important to surround yourself with people that are thriving. And that's going to be easier said than done, because the vast majority of people in your life are going to move into a state of fear and reactivity, and they're not going to thrive during this. And you have to be very, very discerning about who you surround yourself with. You need to surround yourself with people that have the right mindset, the right belief system, are taking courageous action, are setting strategic, intentional focus, and are really already looking to the other side of this and saying, what decisions are we going to make over this hard period to set us up for where we're going to be, when this is all said and done. And that's why community is going to be so key. I just did a whole session with our clients this morning. Community is going to be one of the most essential things that people are looking at when they're making investments in service providers, because the people that are organically in their life are not going to support the outcomes that they need. And so they're going to look for, how am I joining communities and putting myself in a space of people that have the right attitude, right? So that we can lift that up.
Yes.
Yes, that is a real billboard. That was on the
Yeah.
NASDAQ board in Times Square when we released the conviction marketing book this year. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
I was just gonna add to what you were saying, Kelly, too. I like to think of that as like input control, right? So it's like if I have a very clear goal and a very clear vision, and I want to protect my own energy and my own thought process and mindset around that, then I'm very conscious and careful about who I'm surrounding myself with, what type of messaging I'm exposing myself to, and how I'm really helping to support that initiative rather than, get input that may be against what I'm trying to accomplish. So just loving what you said about like community and surrounding yourself with others that also understand what you're going through, right? As a
Oh,
business owner
1000%.
building and growing in this time, it's critical that you're in the room with other people that are experiencing the same challenges and the same success stories that you are through this phase, right? And through this time. So couldn't agree more about how important that community and input control is as you're working on overcoming and thriving during this time.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the deal, guys. We are running a free educational series that is going to teach you how to simplify to multiply through this next crazy period that we're all getting ready to go through. I led a large team through the economic downturn of 2008 and 2009. We laid off 0 people. We closed 0 locations, even though we were doing mass layoffs as an organization and shutting down locations everywhere. We were really the only division of the entire organization that pivoted to profits during that time. So this is not my first rodeo. And for us as an organization, we're prepared to thrive and actually grow significantly during this next period. I feel very certain and confident about that. I also feel certain and confident that our clients are going to do the same. So I would love to invite everyone that's watching this video to join us for this free educational series. It kicks off on December 5th. Simplify to Multiply. You're going to learn how to scale your business in a contracting economy. You're going to learn how to really navigate this next period to the best of your ability, given the information that we have right now. You can go to kellyroachofficial.com/scale in order to register. That's kellyroachofficial.com/scale. We'll put that in the comments for you all here as well. And Heidi, did you want to add anything to that, just in terms of maybe some of the feedback that we got from the last session, or some of the topics that we're going to be covering that you think would be really relevant for these guys today?
Yeah, I think this is really important for anybody that is looking to grow in any capacity in Q1 of 2023 and beyond, right? So if you are looking to really grow and scale and you have some big goals that you want to accomplish, or even if you're just looking to, double what you're already currently doing, we're going to break down the strategy to do that with you. So what does that mean from a messaging position? What does that mean from, the go-to-market strategy and how to kind of pull it all together? So what I love the best is being able to be a concierge or support person on the team for folks coming through this workshop. So what stands out the most in the feedback that I get is that when you register and when you sign up to join us, you get paired with a member of the team that is your personal concierge throughout. So we like to get started right away with connecting with you and get on a call and learn about you and your business and how we can apply what we're learning in the workshop to your individual business model. Because it's not, even though the strategy is the same, it's always a little bit unique for how it applies to you. So we want to understand that and learn about you and how we can support you through the experience. So the biggest feedback that I get from people is that they love the level of support that they get from the team. So I'm already connecting with folks that are signing up. So now is the time. We're getting started, even though the workshop isn't until December 5th. We're already in action behind the scenes. So we're looking forward to connecting with more of you.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a full workbook that goes with this event. So you're going to want to take notes. It's really going to be your guidebook to set you up, to lead you through this next period. And more than anything, you know what? Join the workshop, get in the free pop-up group, just so you can get in with positive people that are taking action, that are making things happen, because there's enough negative buzz out there in the stratosphere about other things. If you want to be in a place of healthy, positive optimism and growth, then absolutely join us. You'll be so inspired. You're going to get to meet all different members of Team Unstoppable. You're going to have a personal concierge to walk you through everything, and we're going to have a blast. So I hope all of you will register register, again, it's kellyrocheofficial.com/scale. You can see it's placed in the comments there in the chat for you. And I hope you all enjoyed our session here today. We're looking forward to seeing you in the workshop on December 5th. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.